I'm Smurf from the Heathens. I'm out here in Australia and I'm chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Smurf.
Hey Staxx, how are you?
How are you, man?
Yeah, no, awesome, man. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been keen on this one. Absolutely.
Definitely. I've been interviewing a lot of heathens,
Yep,
motorcycle family members from the
yep,
US.
yep,
Now we're
yep.
taking it to Australia.
It's got to be done, man. We're worldwide, so you got to take your bloody channel worldwide too, don't you?
Definitely.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
what
Yep.
was your early life like?
Early life. Well, I was born in sunny Queensland. I was only there for a couple of years, and then my folks split, and then after that moved down to cold Melbourne, and I've been here ever since. And well, but I've travelled all the way around Australia, like for work. My work has taken me all around the country, and I've seen pretty well everywhere there is to be. And I just love my life in general, man. My friends, family, everything I just love. It's great. Everything's fantastic.
There's a lot of motorcycle clubs in Australia.
There are, yeah, absolutely. Especially and I feel like that there was in the '90s to early thousands. I feel like there was a bit of a cull with like a lot of motorcycle clubs, and and a lot of the smaller clubs like us, for example. We all kind of went into hiding for one reason or another. And I just get the feeling the last few years it's all coming out of the woodwork, and it's really good to see the smaller clubs, smaller patches just coming out and just enjoying their life and doing what they got to do.
But there's a lot of craziness going on in Australia, too.
There is the look. I try to stay out of it as much as possible, but yeah, there's always something going on, politics and all the behind the scenes stuff, man. It's absolutely crazy. When you actually get into it and hear the things that happen, yeah, man, there's a lot of shit that goes on.
So, how were you first introduced to the heathens? How did they even come across on your radar?
Yeah, so I would have been so I've been a member now for about 3.5 years. And it all started because there was a movie in my hometown. I only live in a small town with a few thousand people that live in it, but in the hometown I live in, there was a local dude who's in the middle of filming like a movie. Shout out to Cameron Hood. He's the director and the writer. He's making a movie that'll be out on Netflix and all the other streams in the next year or so. It's called Hoodlums. And I remember he advertised in the local community page that he needs extras, people that ride motorbikes and whatever. And so it happened to be around the corner from my house. So I showed up one day, and on set was this other dude, and he was wearing his cut, and he is now my VP. And we just kind of hit it off on there. We were on the same set together, spent the whole day together, and I guess he saw something with me to kind of, take me under his wing, and I've never looked back.
So you start hanging around first, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah. Had the hang around phase was quite a bit, and but enjoyable, and multiple rides, pub sessions, just the typical thing. And then one time, yeah, as I said, my VP, he took me to the pub one day and just popped the question, and by then I was keen as mustard for the question to be asked, man, and I was just like, yeah, I didn't hesitate at all. I was just in, done.
So
So,
what's it like when you first get your prospect patch?
yeah, exciting, obviously exciting, and felt great, but still pretty blind and nervous about what I was actually getting into. You hear so many like different stories, different clubs do different things, and at that point I was still blind about what I was actually getting into, but that unknown territory still didn't stop me from doing what I wanted to do.
Did you know about a lot of motorcycle clubs in the area?
Um, yeah. So, I kind of I didn't grow up per se with the MC culture, but so my two good friends, they're both brothers. Their dad and uncle actually started up a Melbourne-based MC called the Vigilantes back in '68 or '69, and always hanging out with them, I've always had some form of MC culture around my life, and so I was never, invisible to the world, but I was never that far deep until I got asked to start prospecting with the Heathens.
And what was that prospecting period like?
Um, Fun, definitely fun. Um, like like I'll never say it was never easy. Like it's never easy, Um, I'm sure talking to the heathen boys in America, they mentioned that we are a little bit more respectful of our prospects than other clubs may be, but that doesn't mean it was an easy thing. But I'll never forget it. And yeah, man, like even now, I still feel like a prospect now. As I said, I've been a member for 3.5 years, and I still feel like a prospect just because you never stop learning, and there's always someone above you that's willing to tell you things or teach you things, and it's an ongoing thing. You never stop being a prospect in anything in life, I reckon.
Yeah, because there's a lot of older members, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, like and that's the thing, and that's what I love most about it too. Like a lot of these guys, they're real old school, old school dudes, and they were still kicking around, in like the early '70s, being in MCs and stuff like that. And you hear the old, I love hearing stories of how their process was, and yeah, man, I love it. It's awesome. It's good.
So, how big is your chapter down there in Australia?
Yeah, so like without talking about specific numbers, like the last 12 months especially, we've definitely upsized, you could say. The momentum has really like increased heaps. I guess, just general presence around the area as well as a bit of social media presence makes a huge difference. And yeah, no, actually pretty respectable number these days.
Some clubs aren't even allowed on social media.
Mm.
So, what's
So
it like to be on social media? And is there rules that you have to abide by when you're on social media?
well, and that is definitely part of it too. Um, like yeah, we are on social media, but it's all private pages, and if we don't know you or we don't want you to see our business, you will not be allowed into those pages or social medias at all. So it's very restricted in that way, where we'd rather be safe than sorry.
It's not open to the public, is what
Nah,
you
nah,
mean.
it's not. It's not. It's pretty much like like if you're one of the boys, or if we invite you in, by all means, we trust you. We want you in. Even just as a hang around or supporter, whatever it might be. But if not, then yeah, like we don't exist, basically.
Yeah, I looked at your thing and it said mutual friend,
Mm.
hazmat. That's it. No one else. I got a lot of people on my Facebook, over 5,000, and I'm like mutual friends.
Yeah,
One.
man. Yeah, like yeah, it's just yeah, and I'm not really I'm a pretty humble dude at the end of the day anyway. I don't really I'm not you get a lot of people that will get it patched. They'll aim to get it patched just so they can brag about it. I'm not that guy. I never have been. Obviously I've got this shit behind me, but like I'm not a day-to-day person being like, "Oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this." I'm like I'm just another regular dude,
You're
you
just
know?
proud of
Yeah,
what you're a part of.
and that's all there is to it. I'm not trying to become something different. I'm still my own person, but at the same time too, I the grey and black is just the grey and black colors are in my head all day every day, and that's all there is to it.
Have you seen that where people get their patches and act that way? Once they get a patch, they start acting different.
Oh yeah, 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 absolutely, plenty of times, absolutely, and it's human nature for some people. There's some people just do it. Maybe it's for their to try and repatch their patch per se, their own insecurities or whatever the case might be. But yeah, you're always going to get it. It's
Do
always
they
going to
get
happen.
sent down the road?
Oh, see, I feel our prospect phase again, kind of like our online presence. It is pretty structured in the way where as soon as we start seeing a few cracks, like that's it. That
You're
is
not
it.
gonna.
Like,
They're not gonna let it slide. Like,
nah,
oh, this happened.
nah.
This happened.
What?
This no.
What? Like obviously, people are human. You know, people make mistakes. We all mess up. But yeah. Like there's, I think Hazmat kind of briefed on it on the last video that he did, where it's like quality over quantity. That is absolutely spot on. Yeah, man.
So, what do you know about? First, how long have the Heathens been in Australia, and what do you know about them coming to Australia?
Right. So, this is all the info for that kind of got from a few of the different older club members, and you know how it is, man. Like the stories muddle up and Chinese whispers, and it's from what I've gathered. So obviously the club was started in 73 in Venice, California, and we first came to Australian shores in 78. Um, and then it got shut down, and so it was pretty strong, and from the late 70s up until like the late 90s kind of era, maybe early thousands, and it got shut down for one reason or another,
In
and
Australia,
yeah,
is
in
that
Australia, yeah, it got shut down, and then there was just no heathens whatsoever, and then it kicked back in. We got our charter back here again, in I think 2010, 2011, and then that kicked up slowly again from there pretty well. So it's been an interesting like roller coaster ride for this is both in America too. Like America's been up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's just the way it is. But the fact that we're still here, that's what matters, man.
they got some? They're spread out good now, and they have chapters all over,
Yep.
and it seems like they have a strong base of
Yep.
operation.
Yeah, absolutely. And like that's without speaking too much about that, like it's kind of like our aim too, and you know, kind of branching out as much as we can while still maintaining that quality over quantity basis that we stick by.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So let me ask you about the back patch, because the
yeah,
back
man.
patch in Australia is different than the back patch in the US.
It is, man. It is. So, well, it's not just the back patch, but the actual color scheme as well. Like you got. So obviously the Yanks, the Americans, they have their blue and the white color scheme, which is what it's always been since day one. And when we got reformed back in that 2011, we decided that we out of respect, because there's another, without naming names, there's a really large 1% club down here, well, mainly down here, but also around the world too, that run the blue and the white colours. And out of respect for them, we didn't want to be stepping on any toes, or because we don't roll that way, man. It's not our thing. So we changed to the grey and the black.